What's up, folks? It's your boy Bob Hollywood. Today I'm reviewing the Star Wars The Force Awakens figure. It is a Black Series or the Legacy Collection or something like that. The Vintage Collection, my bad. It says Kenner on the packaging, but this is obviously made by Hasbro. Hasbro bought Kenner a number of years ago. But Kenner was responsible for the original Star Wars action figures that came out around the times of the original trilogy. It wasn't even a trilogy at the time. It was really just Star Wars. This figure is of my least favorite character in this new trilogy, Rey. This is her Jakku outfit. Again, this is beyond the 5 points of articulation that I'm used to reviewing for my Star Wars figures. I will be comparing this Legacy Collection, Vintage Collection, I keep saying Legacy, this Vintage Collection figure to the 5 points articulation Rey. That is her Jakku suit as well as her Jedi training outfit. And you see she comes with three accessories, excuse me. I bought this at GameStop. The ticket says $10.97. It's actually half off of that, so I paid about $5.50 for this, which is an excellent price. $11 is an excellent price. $13 is an excellent price. If that's what it's going for, I think $15 is a wee bit much, but $13 is what it usually goes for in like Walmarts and Targets and everywhere else before clearance. When we look at the back of the figure, it says the back of the case, it says celebrate the legacy of Star Wars, the action and adventure-packed space saga from a galaxy far, far away. With this collection of premium, highly detailed 3.75-inch scale figures and vehicles, each sold separately, subject to availability, and everything under that is the same, but it's in a different language. We see that there's Kylo Ren in this series, Jyn Erso, which I've already done. Jyn Erso is my first vintage collection figure. Rebel Soldier on Hoth, Rey on Jakku, which we're going to be doing next, Supreme Leader Snoke, and First Order Stormtrooper. So look out in the future for the Kylo Ren, the Rebel Soldier, and the First Order Stormtrooper to come out. I'm actually going to do the video for the Stormtrooper next. I have not bought Supreme Leader Snoke, which is surprisingly the one I wanted the most. They had him at this GameStop where I bought the other three that I bought in addition to this, but for whatever reason, instead of his ticket being $10.97, his ticket was still like $13 or something. And yeah, it would have been half off, but I don't know why I had to pay more for him compared to the others, so I did not buy him. I still want Supreme Leader Snoke. This figure is not for children under the age of 4. See 0 to 3 onion heads there, crossed out, prohibited. And I'm looking for a year on this, 2017 Hasbro. Again, this is made by Hasbro and not Kenner, as the front would say. That's just a callback to the original manufacturer of these, and this is licensed from Disney. So without further ado, and I guess it's the Vintage Collection 116. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and open up Rey. As you see, she comes off of her card really easily. Let me lower my camera for you. Lower my camera for you. Give me 1 second. I came ill prepared. My camera wants to move around, and I need to put something in it to stop it. There we go. So now my camera will not follow me. So here she is in her packaging. You see there's a little bubble. It's not much more complicated than the 5 points of articulation. It is slightly more pieces, but not by much. Again, here are her accessories. She came with this staff accessory with her 5 point of articulation figure, whereas this, and you'll see this mask and goggles, is actually sculpted onto the figure itself. And then this book bag is different. I believe the Rey I have prior to this came with a bag, but it was a single strap. I could be mistaken. I have a lot of toys. Sometimes my memory fails me. I'm going to go ahead and put this book bag on her back. It's easy to do because of her additional articulation in her arms, both in her elbows and in her shoulders. There's Rey. There's her face. It looks like Daisy Ridley. Again, I have no problems with Daisy Ridley, the actor. I just do not like the character of Finn. I saw Force Awakens 3 times in theaters, and she was really one of my only gripes about it. I just recently watched The Last Jedi, and still, just horrible character, horribly written. Nothing wrong with the acting. I don't have a problem with the acting. It's just I don't like the way she was written. So, see, she's in her. I'm gonna take this accessory out this book bag. This is how she is on Jakku. Again, that's why it says Jakku on the packaging. This is how she is before she met any of the other characters. I think Finn was the first character that she met. So, you see there's quite a bit of sculpting. She's got another little satchel attached to her buttocks. And she's just wearing her robes, her linens, and belt straps, boots. She's got gloves. It's one thing the 5-point articulation figure did not have was the gloves. She's just a small little figure. Her legs, they look weird because to me they did not her legs go to the sides. Her legs were done really weirdly. Like really weirdly. Like that's her leg. And obviously you just turn it, but it's weird to think that that's necessary. Yeah, her legs are just weird. I'm trying to rotate them so that it's not as glaringly obvious. There they go. It's like, yeah, she's in the packaging. Her legs were really, they kind of reminded me of like Gumby legs. They were flat. Like they were like this. But yeah, you might not have noticed it on camera. It's definitely noticeable when you're looking at the figure itself. Again, it's not an issue. It's just how she was packaged. And I'm just getting a feel for her articulation because knee articulation is a newer thing to me for Star Wars. This is only my second vintage collection figure. You see there's some paint blemishes on her left calf, which is unfortunate. It's not the end of the world. I'm noticing that a lot of my 5 points of articulation figures have paint chips. They paint comes off really easily, and part of that is my fault because of how I store them. I don't typically store them on a shelf or anything. I just put them in a drawer in a way, and that drawer, obviously, they have contact with other figures. This right ankle is poorly painted, in my opinion. You can barely see the hinges. You can clearly see the hinges, whereas on this left ankle, it is not as bad, but that might change with some movement. Again, I am impressed with the face. In my opinion, it does look like Daisy Ridley. Nothing really wrong with like any molding issues, in my opinion. As I said, just some paint images on her legs and lower. Okay, that's her right there. Let's put her mask on. And for her mask, you're either going to put her arm in first, and then, what am I doing? All right, so here's the deal. You got to take her head off to get her mask on. I'm sorry. That's how you see inside of it. It's not going to fit her head in it with it on. You got to take her head off, slip that on, and now she's suited up. She's got her mask on to deal with sandstorms and driving through the sand. Remember, she was on a little bike. And the head, just like all other Star Wars figures, the head comes off effortlessly. I don't think I've come across a Star Wars figure who's given me difficulty. I think the only one that's given me difficulty, and it's just because of the way it's made, was like Unkar Plutt. So, different situations. It's not like that figure itself was difficult. It's just that the way he's made, he's not human at all. And he's a fat guy, so it's harder. And I want to give some attention to this accessory as well. Put it on her right arm. It looks like it goes better there. So she's got her staff, which she uses in combat, or she did use in combat prior to getting a lightsaber or permanent use of a lightsaber. she did still use her staff in The Last Jedi against Luke Skywalker, and she was in possession of a lightsaber at the time. So 3 accessories. Let's go over articulation. Whoops, excuse me. Arms go up. Not 90 degrees, but still pretty good range of motion. And she can flex on these holes. Arms at the elbows go better than 90 degrees. So her arms are going to rotate 360 degrees at the shoulders. 360 degrees at the elbows. And 360 degrees at the wrists. And in addition to that, her wrists also have hinges. So if you wanted to give her a different weapon, or a weapon in general, because this one doesn't come with a gun. I mean, she comes with her staff, but not a gun. Then she's got some pretty good articulation there. Her arms alone give her more articulation than the 5 points of articulation, because you got the 1, and really 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, so her head rotates 360 degrees, goes up and down, side to side. See, maybe after some play, he might have some trouble with his hair, but no problem right now. Her waist is going to rotate 360 degrees. There's really no ab crunch, but you see she's wiggling somewhat, but that's just a coincidence. Legs go out this wide. You can see there's some resistance from her clothing, and then you can see how the joints are underneath. So I'm going to see if she kicks her legs forward. Yeah, you just got to turn her legs. And this is what I meant by this is how they were packaged in the package. So if you have her legs like this and you want her feet to go to the front, you just got to turn the legs or the foot. So it's just easier to have her stand in a standing position. And then her knees, single jointed knee. But you can see she can kneel with the assistance. She's not completely on her knees because of her clothing, but she's balanced. Is that because of the force? And then her knee also is going to rotate 360 degrees. Ankles, 360 degrees. Clear my camera up for you. And again, they have ballerina toes. She can stand on her tippy toes. That's pretty much it for articulation. Let me go ahead and get this lovely's height. I would say just over 3.5 inches, which is good. Again, I said I was going to compare her to her the 5 points of articulation version of this figure. Here it is. You see the coloring is slightly different, but the overall general feeling is present. You see here she's got this head comes off. All the heads come off. So if you want it, you could move things around. It's just that there's a difference in the necks, and I noticed that with my Gen Ursos, that it's going to look slightly weird when it comes to the neck area if you were to just switch the head. If that doesn't matter to you, it doesn't matter to you. But if you did want a third option for this array of to have uncovered head, fully covered head, or just mediumly covered head, you have those options. It's up to you completely. And again, also, it'll be a little bit harder, but you could do this as well. You could put this fully covered head on the 5 points of articulation figure, and it works. It just works. In my opinion, it may work a little bit better. than what it was intended for. I also want to compare this figure to the Rey in Jedi Training, just because I wanted to compare the head sculpts, the face and whatnot. Let me clear this up for you. Both look like Daisy Ridley. Actually, I think the 5 points of articulation may look a little bit better, although she looks much angrier. And yeah. And again, same thing. If you wanted to swap heads, you could. Nothing's stopping you. It's just that obviously this head is made for a different neck. And you see where the hair messes up. But if you did this, if you just put it just slightly, it works. So that's the vintage with the 5 points of articulation Jedi Training head, and there's that head, and there's the inverse. And the same thing. Whoops! The same thing with the. Excuse me. Let me clear that. Same thing with this. If you wanted her to do like that, even though the color does not match. Your options are plentiful. They really are. I'm going to put regular heads on regular bodies and call it a day. I have one more Rey, but I don't have her out of packaging yet. And it's just essentially this Rey with slightly different colors. So anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Let all your homies know where they can find me, B.O.B., and that's right here at Bob's Holly World. I appreciate you spending some time with me today, and I look forward to seeing you again. Have a good one.